The views and opinions of this broadcast do not reflect the views and opinions of Armed Media, New Productions and its affiliates. Enjoy the show.
Live from Boston, Massachusetts, as unscheduled, with Skymo and The Dave, via Carlisle, Ohio. And I want to thank all of our troops, military around the world, their families. God bless you. We're praying for you and thank you for your service. Well, we've had kind of a wild week, Dave. Wait a minute, I forgot one thing. One more thing. Hey, you guys who want to donate to somebody, it makes me feel good when I donate, Dave, and give money. And I just want to give a shout out to my 501c3. It's a tax-free organization me and the family run. In memory of my son Christopher Lee that passed away in 1982. And you can go on Facebook and you can type in Christopher Lee Foundation. That's CHRISTIFER. Christopher Lee Foundation, and hit the donate button and donate to the cause. We taking donations for cancer patients, for kids, and I'm working on a thing up at Children's up there in Dayton, Ohio, where he passed away, to buy toys for the kids up there they hand out. But we support St. Jude's, and we also support Shriners. Seen a commercial today where they do chemo for kids. They got a cancer treatment center too. And so here's one great thing about it, Dave. 100%, yes, that's correct, 100% of the donations goes to the cause. We take no salaries, we take no money, we take nothing from the organization. It all goes to help the kids. So go to Facebook and type in Christopher Lee Foundation, CHRISTIFER, and donate and help us to help the kids. Okay, Dave, now, we've had a pretty wild week here, and I've been glued to the TV with all these hearings, the mayhem, and me and you both knew anybody, just like Rush says, right out of the liberals' playbook. We knew what was going to happen when Flake done what I knew he would do. Rolled over, agreed to this FBI investigation, and now they're coming up with all kinds of excuses to delay the vote.
Flake's got a good name, doesn't he?
He suits him.
Well, Jeff Flake.
Yeah.
Flaky Flake.
Flaky Flake. He, I'm glad he ain't a cornflake, because I like cornflakes. Everybody on Facebook, hello. I forgot my call-in card, Dave. You remember that number? You're the smartest one out of the two of us.
I don't know.
Well, let me help you out right here.
1-800-508-5431.
What a memory. I tell you what, like a steel trap, son.
That helps reading it off the car.
Yeah, everybody, Facebook, just call us and let us know that you're listening. You don't have to ask nothing. We're around the world in 66 countries, and when was the last time that you went around the world in just a split second, Dave? 1-800-508-5431. call us, just tell us you're listening. And, but Dave, here we go again. And, I am, Mitch McConnell is not known for any backbone. And I heard today that all of his Supreme Court justices that has been nominated on his watch as Senate leader has been confirmed. Well, that's no surprise because most of them have been liberals, and they cowed down, crawled under the bed, and voted them on through. So that ain't no record as far as I'm concerned. But now kudos to him. I got to give credit where credit's due. The man was digging in somebody's trash or something and found a spine somewhere. He stumbled across it in the dark in the park. Somewhere he found some spine. And you know what I think it is now? I don't know. But I think that the results, and now, he ain't the only one. I'll think of his name here in a minute. He was the JAG officer. He's in the Senate. What's his name?
It's South Carolina Senator.
Yeah, now we both draw a blank.
Lindsey Graham.
Lindsey Graham.
Yeah.
Now, he's
Senior moment.
Yeah. Now, he's been a moderate. Now, he is pro-life, but now a lot of things, I've seen him on trade deals and different things. I've seen him roll and he's voted for Kagan,
But you know what? He's been a totally different senator since McCain died. Have you noticed that?
Well, maybe McCain's had him in a headlock
I don't know,
or something.
I've noticed a big difference since McCain passed away. That he's really come on strong as a conservative cause.
Yeah.
He's no longer like mediocre in the middle with following along with McCain, because he can't. This is I like this nice change that Lindsey Graham's gone through, his metamorphosis, because he sounds like he's got a backbone to him and he's doing the right thing.
Yeah. Well, I wonder. I just think now. I don't know if McCain had anything to do with it or not, but now I do believe that Donald Trump's influence on these people.
He plays golf with Lindsey.
Yeah.
They're golf buddies.
I think that's had more of an impact than anything, David. I think it's made him stand up and try to be try to have a little bit of spine,
did you notice the left attacked him? Was it Bill Maher on his show? They said that he was homosexual or something to the effect. They joked about it and said he was a homosexual.
Oh, yeah.
But I guess he's in his early, he's a little bit younger than I am. He's in his early 60s. But I guess he's never been married. I don't know. But that's what I've heard. I don't know.
Well, if that's the standard, there's a whole lot of single men in trouble, And both of them okay, huh? And let me see here. We're tweaking around here. But I'm glad to see it. Regardless of the reason why, I'm glad to see it because it's the right thing to do, Dave. You're making laws up there. You're doing everything you do somehow, some way, at some degree. When you're in that Congress or you're in that Senate, you're affecting average people's lives. And, there's a time to agree and there's time to go toe-to-toe. And when right versus wrong, and you're on the right side of right, David, you don't compromise that away. You stand and you fight for that,
you're
brother.
right about that. Democrats, they fight. That's one thing you can say about them. They never give up and they stick together and they fight. But it was, I hated to see what I saw the other day. Well, yesterday or today, can't remember. It's been a blur. But Hillary Clinton's opened her mouth and she's commenting on the judge, Kavanaugh, and Donald Trump. But the thing is, she's got no room to talk.
Right.
She's the one that, where all these reputable people that came out against Bill Clinton that were attacked by him or, raped in one case, Juanita Broderick. I believe she was raped by him. And, not a word was ever said about it. They just said, you can't believe him.
Wasn't there a payoff or something on that?
But they talk about an air stick on Kavanaugh on the bench, like having a little air stick on his record, and saying that he was accused of molesting. Asterisk, accused of attacking a woman. Well, just think of all the ones that Bill Clinton has on his record.
Yeah.
All the sexual assaults, rapes, you name it. He's actually done it though. He has a record of that.
Oh yeah.
And Hillary for power, she took up for him and blamed it on a right wing conspiracy back in 98 on the Today Show on NBC.
Right.
Said it was a right wing conspiracy. Right. It was Bill Clinton. Couldn't keep his pants on is what the problem was.
Well, and all the women's groups, they started coming forward and the Stand By Your Man thing, they keyed that thing up. They all surrounded her for sticking up for him and taking his side. Then the bimbo eruption started, dragging the dollar through the trailer park. Paula Jones got caught up in that.
You can imagine how psycho she feels because she's waited all these years, 20 years of putting up with Bill Clinton. Actually, longer than that, probably closer to 40 years putting up with Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Hoping that she could become president one day, only to lose to Barack Obama and Donald Trump.
Right.
She's got to be psycho crazy by now, and which she is. I mean, she is a psycho nut.
Well,
she won't go away, and I just wish she would go away, but she won't.
She's like a booger stuck to your finger, and you keep flipping it, and it won't go off.
It's worse than that. If she was a booger on the end of my finger, I'd go to the gas stove and put my finger in the fire until it burn up. I'd tolerate the pain to get rid of it.
I tell you what, buddy, but see, David, that's what happens when your ego, when your life is governed by your ego. That's exactly what you get right there. And then what follows that is a seared conscience. Then you start thinking you can do no wrong, and everything comes out of your mouth is truth regardless of the facts. And, that's one thing about a liberal, that liberals are always troubled by the facts, by the truth.
But that brings up an interesting question, and I've thought about this, and I really don't know the answer to it. Do these people actually believe what they say, or are they just going off the deep end and they're nuts, and they'll say anything at any time to anybody about anything, regardless if it's a lie or not? They don't care about the truth. They just... this is a crazy situation where I've never seen the country in such shape. Yeah. I thought it was bad with Clarence Thomas, but this thing with Kavanaugh it puts that to shame.
Well, I think, David, now that's a very good question, and I've pondered that so many times myself, and I think it's kind of a mixed bag. You've got some young Democrats that are in office that fed at the trough of your senior Democrats that got elected. And I think it's like getting an untreated disease and you don't treat it. It progressively gets worse. And I think that's what happens with liberalism. It tends to get worse until you eat up, like Feinstein, like Hillary, like Pocahontas. And then I think, that's where the soul's dead, brother. Mm-hmm. You've killed your soul. And I think it progressively happens.
But Rush brought up an interesting idea today. Well, it's actually not the first day I heard it. But he said that Democrats flock to the Democrat Party because of their sickness. If you notice, everybody in the Democrat Party, they're either victims or they're sick.
Yeah.
Like they don't know what They don't know what sex they are. They don't know their gender. They don't know.
Right.
They don't know these things. And you and I, we know what we are.
Right.
And we're either proud of it
We're
or we're
of
not.
sound mind.
Right, but just look at the people that joined the Democrat Party. They want to kill babies. They don't know what gender they are. They're Democrats that they lie about it virtually everything, and they don't care to attack those who tell the truth at all.
Well, and not only that, Dave, how upside down is this? You give a man, okay, they say, oh, they're for the working man, they're for the working man. Okay, a Democrat, okay, he will give a man a raise, a $20 raise. Okay, say guy's making $10. Okay, a Democrat will give, hey, you need a living wage, you need $15. But then on the tail end of that, they want 7 or 8 of that back for taxes. And you're worse off than you was before you got the raise. Now, that's how they play when it comes to your wallet. And they've got people believing that.
Well, you're exactly right. And look what happened. When Lyndon Johnson, he started the war on poverty back in 1963 or 4. I'm not sure when it was.
64, I believe.
But look what it got the black community. It got them 77 out of 10 young black kids growing up today don't have a father in the house.
Right.
Their welfare went rampant. Food stamps.
One generation after another.
They just went downhill, and you lose all pride when you don't have to work for something.
Right.
And when you don't have pride in your family, what have you got? You've got nothing.
Right.
And this is exactly what's happened with the black community. And I think right now I'm seeing them starting to wake up.
Oh yeah.
They're starting to wake up. You see a lot of young black smart kids growing up saying, "Hey, for the last 50 years, we haven't gotten anything from the Democrat Party. They only want our vote when it's time to vote." And they always end up calling Republicans names like, well, they're racist, or they're going to burn a cross on your lawn, or drag you behind a car.
Right.
They just make up stuff.
Right.
We're not that way.
No.
And that's what they want. They want to fool people into voting for them.
And they've been doing that since Lyndon Baines Johnson.
And it's worked.
And, Lyndon Baines Johnson, now the tale is that when he signed that bill, that in a private meeting, he told his staff, he said, I'll have these Negroes voting for us for, next 100 years, I think it was. But he didn't say Negroes.
But you know what happened, Les? And the reason that Hispanics are the largest minority right now, they've overtaken blacks, is because all the black, this is God's honest truth, they all had abortions.
Number one killer of the black community.
It sure is, and they wouldn't be the smallest minority right now if it wasn't for the fact that they had so many abortions.
Exactly. Quit killing your babies, black people. Please.
That's exactly what happened.
Precious little.
They killed their babies, and that's why they're not the largest minority now.
Right. Well, and I tell you what, something I've given a lot of thought to, Dave. Now, this is abortion in general. Now, number one, I don't care what the circumstances are. It's murder. Even in life of the mother, okay, it's still murder in God's eyes. Don't matter. Don't make no difference. Okay? But now that's between the mother and God. Now, I'd be crucified for making that statement in the wrong crowd, but that's just the facts. Now, here's the thing. We want cures for cancer. We want new technology. We want this. We want that. We want all these problems solved in the world, Dave. We want hunger, world hunger solved. We want to go to Mars. All these things we want to do. I wonder, Dave, how many years, how many decades have we been held back from these things because we killed the very people that could have brought that forth?
It's very possible. We'll never know.
We'll never know.
But
ain't that something to think about?
It is something to think about. And you know what's going to happen? The reason I think that they don't want Kavanaugh in the Supreme Court is for this reason. If they ever consider when life actually begins That means that you can live outside the womb, even through extraordinary means,
Right.
like with machines, with the help of machines. But if they ever lower the threshold to where these babies are considered human beings, then abortion will cease.
Right.
And the only way you're going to have any type of abortion is going to be right at conception, like a morning after pill.
Morning after pill.
That's the only way you're going to have it, because scientifically, the age is growing younger and younger. And one of these days, the court's going to get a case, and they're going to say, is this person human? And if they are, then you're killing them.
Right.
And it's against the law to kill.
Right.
We already have plenty of laws on the books saying you can't kill people. But this is why they're afraid of Kavanaugh.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about that, brother.
What the Democrats can't
what
do...
this is all about.
Yeah, what the Democrats can't do at the ballot box, they will do through the courts.
That's well established.
If you think about this, even in the liberal state of California, they voted against gay marriage.
Yes, they did.
In every state that gay marriage was put on the ballot, it was voted down. And even Barack Obama, halfway through his presidency, he was still anti-gay marriage.
Right.
But yet, Biden slipped up and announced it, so he had to switch.
Yeah.
He probably was always for it, but he didn't want to come out with it that early.
It was political suicide for him, he thought.
Yeah, he lit the White House up with a rainbow, mocking God, because God has a rainbow over his throne, so they thought he'd mock God, so they light up the White House in all these rainbow colors.
Dangerous
and
stuff.
that is mocking God.
It is.
It's definitely mocking God, and the Bible says that God will not be mocked. These people are going to pay. I wouldn't want to be Barack Obama, what he did for Israel, what he did to Israel.
Right.
He tried to defeat Netanyahu by sending taxpayer dollars.
Money, yeah.
That was taxpayer dollars he sent over there to Israel to try to defeat Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah.
So he's going to be, and the thing that he had before he left office when the UN didn't abstain, though they abstained and didn't vote against it. They just abstained. That means like they weren't there.
Right.
Like a no-show. But you watch, something bad's going to happen to him. I mean, it's just, if you believe Genesis 12:3, it says, I will bless them that bless you, I'll curse them that curse you. The curse is coming.
You don't get away with it, Dave.
Nope. God has a long memory.
You know, and, it's for every action, there's a reaction. Newton's law applies to...
For every action, there's an opposite and equal reaction.
That's the most obvious law. Even idiots know that. And I tell you, it drives me nuts, Dave. I keep up with it because I'm my concern for this country. And I'd like to be in a room full of liberals and just your voters and just have a discussion with them, Dave. And my questions to them would be, okay, what you see, our attack on our church, is that okay with you? Our attack on our Constitution, do you even believe in the Constitution? Okay, is it okay for the teachers or for guidance counselors, which it's happened in Pennsylvania? They took pregnant girls without their permission of their parents and took them to Planned Parenthood, Dave, and had abortions on these children. And, is this stuff okay? Is it all right, the direction we're going to, where there's no morals, there's no right and wrong, to where your children belongs to the state, that your children are, you're just step-parents, they actually belong to the government, and on and on and on and on. The questions never cease that I would have to them. But I would want to have a discussion on the facts, David. Look at society, America. Look at America when me and you was growing up, and look at America now. There was a time in this country where the church got respect. There was a time, now you go on back, our founding fathers, that was a time, to where the government would go to clergy for advice. Not to mention that you had several of them that had clergy degrees. It was, that was our founding fathers, but there was a time when there was respect and dignity, and for our institutions, Dave, and our flag, and just for, there was a time when I think everybody was proud to be Americans.
Sure. I got a question for America to add. I'd like to see this question answered. And this question is, of the three women who come out against Kavanaugh, should they be prosecuted for perjury? Because they've all had sworn statements that they've made, either on paper or actually before Congress. Should they be brought up on perjury charges? Since every one of them have holes in their stories. Should they be brought up on perjury charges?
I think so. If it's proved that they've committed. Now here's something. They went and talked to Ford's ex-boyfriend, and the FBI did. And her ex-boyfriend said that she did lie to Congress, Dave. She said that her ex-boyfriend said that she coached a lifelong best friend of hers on how to pass a polygraph test when they was interviewing for a job. And with the FBI,
okay,
or the DOJ.
Yeah, I heard that.
Now, her boyfriend said that, her ex-boyfriend. She said she never. Because Miss Mitchell asked her that question distinctly.
I remember that.
And she said no. And also, how she said she was afraid to fly. Mm-hmm. And she didn't even know that Senator Grassley offered to come to send staff to her house to interview her, and her lawyers didn't even tell her that.
She's flying around the volcano in Hawaii in a small airplane.
Yeah.
She's supposedly claustrophobic.
Oh, yeah.
And here she is in a little Cessna.
Yeah.
Holds about 4 people.
Yeah.
And she's not afraid.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a lie.
But I don't believe a word she said.
I don't either.
I think
I don't know why people feel so sorry for her.
Well, see, and that gets under my skin. Now, the media, they don't want it. Fox News, they're and everybody's saying it, but including Fox News, which that's about all I watch other than on the internet media. But they're saying, oh, well, we believe something happened to her. Yep. But it wasn't Kavanaugh.
Yeah, she lost her mind.
That she's got.
That's what happened.
Well, and they'll come off with this key word. Well, she was credible that something happened. What was credible about the woman? Nothing was credible.
I didn't get that impression at all.
How can you draw that conclusion, David, out of what little bit? You didn't get a thimble full of information out of her. Now how do you make a 13-mile round trip from the country club to her house is 6.5 miles? Okay, round trip, the party house somewhere in proximity of the country club. Mm-hmm. Okay, she made a 13-mile round trip to the country club / party house, back home. Don't know how she got back and forth. Was you kidnapped? Was you hit over the head? Was you drunk? Did you have amnesia? What's going on here that you don't remember that? Why did you leave? When you fell off the bed, you dashed into the bathroom instead of dashing down the stairs to leave that place and go call the law that some man tried to rape you. Number one, why, unless somebody was in the bathroom downstairs, nobody said, you know good and well there's a downstairs bathroom. Why didn't she go into that bathroom? You got
to remember also there's no such thing as a cell phone, so when she ran out the door, where'd she go?
Yeah, right.
She had to find a phone booth?
Yeah.
But she don't remember that.
But yeah, she doesn't remember.
She doesn't remember. The only thing she does remember, like what the president said, is that she had 1 beer.
Yeah.
She remembers that.
She remembers 1 beer and Kavanaugh's hand over her mouth.
She remembers either 3 people, 4 people, or 5 people being there.
And they all denied being there.
And they all deny it. So how is this woman credible?
That's what I'm saying, brother.
How did she get there? Where's it at? She didn't even remember where it's at.
Right.
She doesn't remember when she left. How she doesn't even remember the year it happened in. She's changed the date 3 or 4 times from early 80s all the way to the late 80s.
Right.
So that's almost an 8 or 9 year span that it happened in. She can't even remember. And it keeps changing. Yeah. All these things keep changing. From 1981 to 1989 is sometimes in that time period is when it happened.
Right.
And then let's go to this Julie Swetnick.
Oh my!
This is a real winner here.
You see that interview?
Oh yeah, this is a real winner. Well, first of all she called Brett Kavanaugh Mark Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
And then she said, "Well, I know that he was holding the Dixie cups or what kind of cups?
Yeah, solo cups.
The solo cups." And I don't know if he put anything in them, but he was holding the cups. Ooh.
Yeah.
And then he was standing over by the punch bowl, which really wasn't a punch bowl, but it's where the punch was kept. So she figures he put something in the alcohol or drugs.
Yeah.
And then she said, "Well, I don't even know if he was one of the ones that came in and raped me."
Yeah.
And then she said, she was in college. And this all happened when they were in high school.
Right.
How many college girls go to high school parties?
Right.
It never happened with me when I was in school.
Right.
It never happened.
Right.
I mean, you didn't even have people from other schools coming to parties.
No.
Everybody was in the same group. This was all the same grade, usually, and they all went to the same parties. This is the one that really gets me, though. She said she went to 10 of these events where there was raping going on, gang rape going on, and she liked it so much she went back 9 other times after she was raped.
Raped once.
You know, I just can't figure that out. Does that make sense?
Yeah, right.
On the face of it, it's foolish talk.
Right. Well, and then there was the incident where the man said that he was on the boat and molested that woman on a boat. Now, that has come out. You ain't heard it on the news yet. Okay, but I read an article the other day, yesterday it was, that dude was prompted by Senator Whitehouse. He was encouraging this guy. Apparently he knew him, knew of him, sometime got contact with him. He encouraged him to come out with that story. So now, I want an FBI investigation on this whole deal, brother.
Oh, it needs it.
That's what I want.
Well, let's see. Did we finish up with? No, we didn't finish Julie Swetnick yet.
Let's do it.
We got one more item.
Her
Her boyfriend, who was with her for years, he came out and said last night or the night before last that she threatened to kill his unborn child. In other words, to kill his wife.
Right.
Think about that.
And his family, too.
Yeah, and they had to get a restraining order, I think is what I heard.
Yeah.
Against her because she was crazy.
Yeah.
Think about that for a second. What kind of a woman would want to kill a baby?
Well,
an unborn baby. That means kill the woman.
Yeah. Now,
and the baby.
Like I said, I think that he said that he was going to get one and didn't because he was afraid of what she was going to do. Now, she's psychopath.
She is.
She's homicidal.
Yeah, she's definitely nuts.
Something needs to be done with that woman before she does kill somebody. And, she's plumb out there, brother, you know. And
Avenetti's her lawyer, and he's a psycho too. He's a hater. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
Anything that Donald Trump does, he's a hater.
And you can anything that comes from his office, you can bet that it's got a prostitute dangling on the end of it, because that just seems like who he hangs out with.
Tucker Carlson calls him a creepy porn lawyer.
Creepy porn lawyer.
I like that. I like that name. We'll call him creepy porn
lawyer. But now, you know, every time, it's like the Stormy Daniels thing, prostitute. This woman here, I don't know that she's a prostitute. I don't know what she is, but I know she's got mental issues. But see, the thing about it is and he come out and talk about how credible she was and everything. Boy, that's 2 duds in a row.
Let's go back to the Professor Ford for a second.
All right, let's do it.
Now, she claimed that she was claustrophobic.
Yeah.
And she couldn't get in small spaces, but yet her boyfriend said she lived in a 500 square foot apartment building, which is pretty small.
One door.
It had one door. And she said she had 2 doors in her house when she had it built because she was afraid. You know why she had the other doors? Because for tax purposes, she had a separate office in her house, which the IRS demands that you keep separate, so it had a separate entrance. That was the only reason.
Is that right?
It was for tax purposes.
Yeah, now, see, I didn't know that.
That's
you
exactly
have
right.
enlightened me, see.
But that's exactly right. If you have an office,
right?
if you have an office in your house that you do business out of, you have to have it blocked off from the main house because it's considered a write-off.
It's not part of the residence.
You can write that off.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what she did. She had a separate entrance put in so that people coming to visit for professional reasons could go in through that door and didn't have to go through her house.
Really?
That's exactly what happened.
Didn't know that, brother. Well, I'm glad to. But see, now how long is it going to take for them to sniff this out? If you know that, you would think the senators know that. Congress.
The only reason I know that is because that's what her boyfriend said.
Yeah.
And her boyfriend wouldn't lie about it. Why would he lie about it?
Yeah. Now, I missed that interview.
And he did say also that he was aware of her briefing a former, like you said, the former FBI agent to how to take a polygraph test.
Right.
Now, if she can brief somebody on how to take a polygraph test and pass, how much more do you think she knows how to take a polygraph test and pass?
Yeah.
And how to act a little bit disheveled and scared and...
Yeah, look at that. Capitol Police arrest Dem staffer for accused of releasing personal information of GOP
Well, this is breaking news, folks. We're just catching this right now.
Breaking news. And they showed Sheila Jackson Lee's face up there when they put that up there, Dave. Capitol Police.
What's Sheila Jackson Lee got to do with anything? She's in the Congress, and this is the Senate, but she was in those hearings.
Now, what was in that Fox News? A cousin of mine sent me a thing, said Fox News said it was more witnesses in the envelope. But I seen the video right after that hearing.
She was slipping that lawyer an envelope.
She slipped him, and she had another one in her hand. Live on Facebook. I called Sheila Jackson Lee's office, and the woman hum-hauled around. She hung up on me.
Get this now. If it was the word of encouragement for the accuser, then why didn't she just hand it to her herself?
Right.
She was right next to her lawyer.
I think it's paid off, brother. I don't care what they say.
I don't get that. I thought, well, if that's words of encouragement or a letter, I don't get it. I just don't. I can't figure that out.
See, here's the thing, and here's why. I just want to say hello. Thank you for everybody on Facebook. Thank you for tuning in. Send us a question. Call 1-800-508-5431, and just tell us hey. And but now, Dave, that they are the reason I feel that way, Dave, is because they're low down, they're conniving, they're criminal. The Democratic Party, the leadership, and that includes probably the majority of the Democratic Party, is nothing but a crime syndicate.
Well, the news media is right with them, too.
And they're
all just right next to each other.
Well, sure they are.
They have a symbiotic relationship. Or it's crazy.
It's
and what about Keith Ellison?
Yeah.
They already let him go. They said there's no evidence against him.
Yeah.
They already concluded the investigation on him.
The Democrats did. I don't know if the police did or not.
I don't know, but that needs something.
She's got pictures and
this woman's got medical records,
and
that yet they won't. And this didn't happen 35 years ago. No. This happened about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Right, and he's beat up other women too, Dave. You know that they ain't come forward on him because they're Democrats.
Well, he's got a couple things going for him. He's Muslim and he's a Democrat.
You owe me a Coke. But now, this stuff is ludicrous. They're crucifying an innocent man from the get-go, day one, on those hearings, Dave, that he had to have his two girls escorted out of that hearing room because it got so vicious from the get-go. Now, folks, I'm telling you what, if you don't get out here and vote Republican, America is doomed. If we lose the Senate or we lose the House, you know what we're going to get.
I'm feeling good about the Senate right now, though.
You know, oh yeah, I think it's going to be a blowout, brother. I really believe they're flushing out.
I heard Heidi Heidkamp is 10 points behind.
Yeah, good.
That is so good.
And I hope that's on the light side. But you know how the polls, you know, now that one's probably, I'll take that one.
I'd say that's pretty accurate.
But now, the fact is, Dave, is right now what's on display is a dose of what they will do to America, not for America. Democrats don't do nothing for America. They don't do nothing for Americans.
They do it
to you.
Yeah, they do it to you.
Now and that's a fact.
That is a fact.
You know, and what you're seeing now, folks, you don't have to be as involved in politics as me and Dave is, or some people, but I'm telling you, and you people on Facebook, get involved. Watch what's going on to your country. Watch what your kids are going to be left with. It's up to me and you to fight for this thing, Dave. We still won't get all we want, but we're going to have victories. We can have enough victories. Teach our children how to fight. Show our children how to fight. Preserve as much of this, what's left of this republic, Dave, as we can, because, you know, most of us with kids that's in school, well, mine's all grown and gone, but I've got grandkids in school. But the thing about it is, if you have children in school, what kind of education are you getting? Are you monitoring what your schools are teaching these kids? Are you looking at their books? Are you looking at their papers? Are you an involved parent? If you're not, you better be involved with what's going on in your grade schools, what's going on in your colleges, what's going on in your elementary schools, what's going on in life.
You know, the colleges are pretty much lost.
Well, sure.
I mean,
trade school.
The liberals took over.
Trade school. But now, get involved, people. Parents and young people alike, get involved and see what's going on. The thing, if you want to know the truth, Dave, you're going to seek for the truth. A lie will find you, but you have to seek the truth. You know, Jesus said, if you seek, you will find. Okay, the truth is you're not going to stumble over top of it, because there's so much misinformation out there. There's so many lies. There's so much deceit. There's so much. This world is tainted. It's corrupt. It's a sin-cursed world. A lie will bombard you. It will overtake you. You have to seek the truth, David. You've got to look for the truth. Do this for your children. Do this for your grandchildren. Teach your children and your grandchildren. There's more to life than just having fun, David. Sometimes you have to fight and preserve what's right.
Right about that. Jesus said, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. And no man comes to the Father but through me.
You know, and you know, it boggles my mind that the parents, there's so many parents, David, they're disengaged with their children.
I'll make an observation here. You know that Brett Kavanaugh, he spoke up and he defended himself. But what it really means, though, it doesn't matter what he says. The ones that hate him and are Democrats are going to keep on hating him no matter what he says.
Oh, yeah.
That's why Jesus, when he's brought before Pilate and Caiaphas, he didn't open his mouth.
Yeah.
He didn't try to defend himself, because it doesn't do any good, because if somebody has it in their heart to believe you, to do these things against you, it doesn't matter what you say. It's not going to change their ways that they think about you, and that's exactly what's happened. It doesn't matter what he said. Now they said he was, but if somebody called you an attempted rapist, wouldn't you get kind of angry if it never happened?
Right.
Well, what's wrong with showing a little emotion, getting angry?
Well, and you look at...
Oh, he threw ice on somebody, too.
Yeah, threw ice on somebody. Oh. Yeah. But
can't be forgiven for that.
When it comes to that, we know that, Jesus was on a mission. And he wasn't going to try to talk his way out of it, because his purpose was to bring salvation to the world. But now, you see where where Paul, was it Paul or Peter, that they threw him in jail and beat him, and they was going to let him go in the middle of the night? And he told him, no, you bring us out in front of everybody, and you know, you're not going to get away with this. And so that's what they did. I can't remember the story right offhand, but you know, you can anger and sin not, Dave. You know, you don't have to cuss somebody out. But now here's the thing. If we would have counted down to the British, we'd still be under the crown. There's a time to fight. There's a time not to say anything. There's a time to reap. There's a time to sow. There's a time for everything. Being a Christian, especially being a Christian, Dave, don't mean you have to lay down and let the world wipe its feet on you. You know,
Well,
God give us this country, and we better fight for it, or we're going to lose it.
I just think it's sad that this country's come to the point where they have to go to lying and
Yeah, right.
false accusations, make things up because they don't like your politics or they don't like the way they have to make up bad things about
Right.
you in order to defeat you. They
Right.
can't defeat the Republicans or the conservatives on ideas. That's proven fact.
And the arena of ideas is where they don't want to be, Dave, because they don't want the facts is what they hide from everybody.
But
The truth.
But see, Donald Trump draws them out on who they really are.
Yeah, he does. He does.
That's
He
one thing.
baits them and they go
That's
for it.
one thing that drives them nuts, I think.
It is.
And the news media is right along with the Democrats.
Right.
I mean, anybody can see that. You can see, if you honestly look at it, the amount of positive stories you hear on Kavanaugh are probably 1% out of 100%. You might hear 1 or 2% positive stories on Kavanaugh or how he defended himself.
Right.
But most of it's just anti-Kavanaugh, anti-Trump,
Oh,
anti-everything.
It's banging that
It's
same
just-
old drum.
It's just pro-Democrat all the way.
Well, and here's another thing, too. That Booker, Senator Booker, okay, he is a sexual offender. He lied and said he was 15, but he was 17 when he was at a party, drunk, drinking. The girl was dog drunk that he was fondling, and he owned up and bragged about it. He got caught in that. He's sitting in the Senate.
Does he want to be called Spartacus?
Yeah.
Senator
Cory Booker.
Senator Cory Spartacus.
Cory Spartacus Booker. Yeah, and he wrote an article about it. And
That guy, just that observation. He looks kind of crazy in his eyes. You ever notice
yeah,
that?
he is.
When he looks,
He's Democrat.
When he looks at you, his eyes are real bugged open,
Yeah.
real wide.
That's
It's like
all the cocaine.
it's like I don't know. It kind of reminds me of Hillary in that
Yeah.
respect. Her eyes are all really bugged out, really wide open.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
Right,
They have
yeah.
a strange.
The evil trying to pop out.
It's a strange facial expression
then-
both of them have.
Senator Blumenthal. I tell you what.
A stolen valor, that makes me sick. You know,
And to beat
when
him
he's,
all the
to
way.
steal somebody's valor, to say he was in Vietnam,
Yeah.
and
He wasn't even in the service, brother.
I didn't know he was in the. I didn't know he wasn't in the service.
He took deferments from 1965 to 1970 and took repeated steps to avoid going to war and being in the military. And his deferments allowed him to complete his studies at Harvard.
Prime age for Vietnam is early 70s.
Yeah, so prime age for Vietnam is in the 70s.
Early 70s. If you're this age of early 70s right now.
Yeah,
Because I'm a little bit young.
I graduated in 75, so I just missed it.
The war was over in the spring of 1970. Well, late winter of 1973. That's when they
Right.
signed the peace agreement.
When they left Saigon.
And well, actually, they left Saigon a little bit later. That's when the
Later,
airlift.
Yeah, you see them hanging off the choppers and everything.
Because I was in active duty, I think, when that happened.
They was pushing choppers off the ships where they had
Yeah,
room for everybody.
They didn't have room for them. They were
Yeah.
bringing everybody out of the country that they could.
Well, and there's still 200,000, I believe, it was got slaughtered by the North, by Viet Cong.
It wasn't pleasant.
But and to be law, this Blumenthal was at a ceremony honoring veterans and senior citizens when he told that bald-faced lie. And here's what he said. His statement: "We've learned something important since the days that I served in Vietnam," Mr. Blumenthal said. I'm
glad Donald Trump calls him on that all the time.
Well, yeah, I mean, he should be.
Yeah.
That should be a felony, man, to do that kind of crap.
Well, they can have a nickname for him, Saigon or Da Nang.
Oh, I don't know. We'll find one.
Da Nang Dick is what they call him.
Da Nang Dick?
Yeah, that's what they call him, Da Nang Dick.
Okay.
That's his name. Da Nang Dick Blumenthal.
But now, I'll tell you a sad story, though, Dave. Now, you heard about this ricin that the letters they got, they've connected that with a naval, some guys in the Navy. And, which that's sad, man. That's a brother, and I heard
it wasn't effective, though. It was not, really wasn't, it was just like seeds.
Seeds, yeah. It wasn't raw.
Particular plant. Yeah. It wasn't refined into the rice.
Refined, that's the word, yeah. But that's sad, man, that,
Probably
so.
PTSD, who knows?
What's going on in his head, you know. And,
so many vets kill themselves every day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I forget it's a high number.
Some that don't kill themselves, maybe they do stuff like that. I don't know, but they're messed up.
Yeah, but it's back to Ford real quick. She didn't even know who paid for the polygraph test. Her lawyer,
her attorneys said they did.
We did. That's normal procedure. They say that's. I don't know where she's living, but I've never heard of that.
See, Dianne Feinstein set that whole deal up. She recommended them.
Yes.
So she set that up in order for this very thing to happen.
She did.
All of this all this stuff was planned out. People don't realize it, but it was all planned out from the get-go.
Right.
And they knew back in July they were going to pull this off.
Oh, they did.
And it was a Hail Mary pass to see if it would work.
Right.
And thinking that the Republicans are pretty stupid and would fall for it, they thought, well, they're not going to. Kavanaugh have to withdraw because either Trump will make him go or he'll get so upset he'll withdraw himself.
Right.
But it didn't work out the way they planned.
Yeah. Well, see, that was the intention, to get him to withdraw, and then that didn't work. Then they went to Plan B. Now they're on Plan C right now. But they're evil, Dave.
They're calling him a drunk, and they're calling him he doesn't have the demeanor to be on the court.
Right.
Get
Just
this
he got a little mad.
He's been 12 years on the court, the next highest court in the land. All he got to do is read his 306 cases he's already settled, already wrote about. Why don't they? You know why they don't want to do that? Because he makes perfect sense.
Oh, yeah.
And they can't find any fault with him.
Right.
So if they can't find fault there, that's the reason.
Now they're trying to accuse Trump of tax evasion. The New York Times put an article out where he Trump's the siblings and his sister's a judge. And
she's not going to take too kindly with that.
No, they shielded somehow or another the money from the taxes, It's supposed to have been billions of dollars, so that's not true.
Well, his dad wasn't worth that much money.
No, his dad was very successful.
He was successful, but not in Manhattan. That's where the big money was.
Yeah.
Donald Trump his dad gave him $1 million to start his business, and he eventually worked his way into Manhattan.
But his dad thought he was crazy for going that route.
His dad didn't want him to go to Manhattan because the property is too expensive.
Right.
But he put together deals, and he got it done.
Right.
And he left the small town. Well, not small town. Queens is not a small town.
Yeah.
But it's like it's not to be compared with the real estate in Manhattan.
Right.
It's the most expensive real estate.
It's
the most expensive real estate in the United States by far.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's huge cost. So Donald Trump got successful, and he got successful in Manhattan, and that's why he made so much money.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, he failed a lot. He had that airline that failed. Remember that? And he had the football league that failed.
Right. Yeah.
It was I guess it was a pro football team, but it was trying to compete against the NFL, and their season was like in the summertime, which Major League Baseball killed them.
Yeah.
And there was no place to.
Wasn't no market.
There wasn't because the NFL had everything.
Right. But he didn't quit. See, and that's failure is. Is not a bad thing.
Well, you learn from it.
If you take it in stride.
You learn.
And you lick your wounds, and that's one way not to do it again, And you scratch that way off your list, and you...
I got this.
Plan B.
For all the local people around here that's voting in November, AFTAB is not a soft drink. AFTAB is a bad idea. He's a Democrat. Do not vote for AFTAB.
Yes, danger, Will Robinson.
He is not a soft drink.
Yes, do not vote for him. Folks, it's a serious thing now, Dave. We've got a few minutes left here, a couple minutes. This election, and you Facebook people, I know you probably already know this. We've got 1 minute left, Dave. But this is the most important election in your life. I really believe this is for the direction and for the soul of this country.
I agree. If everybody out there votes and does their job, we'll do all right. But if you stay home, we're not going to do all right. So you have to get out there and vote. I think it's November 6th, right?
November 6th.
Vote. It's the most important thing you can do.
Thank you, Facebook people. We got 28 seconds. God bless y'all. Jesus loves you. We love you. Thank you for tuning in on Armed Radio Global and on Facebook Live. Dave, anything quickly? 17 seconds. 15 seconds.
There's not much time to say anything, but it's been a great evening.
Great evening. God bless you. We love you. Jimmy, thank you, brother. Take us on out.
Revolution, gun control the sound, so shooting rockets to the moon, kids growing up too soon. Politicians say more taxes will solve everything. And the band plays